So we're officially starting. I left a little bit of wait, a little bit of time because the car park was probably a little mess, don't you think? Yeah? I heard that, so I left a little bit of time. So, folks, my name is Otto. Welcome to this nutrition seminar about smoothies. So I work for this club for the last 3 years. And today I would like to talk about some handy tips and tricks that help me to stay in a, what I would say, on high pace lifestyle. So how to cope with fast paced lifestyle, being prepared for the gaps between the meals, how to start the day really fast, and also how to actually mix the smoothies in the right ratio so you get the stuff that you might need in your nutrition, so we can actually hide a few things into it. So I'll let you guys also to ask me questions as we go along. So if you have anything that you want me to cover, just please ask me. I like actually these seminars to be more like question answer collaboration type of thing. Okay, so let me just say something about myself before we go. I'm from Slovakia. I'm actually living here for the last 11 years, and I've been exercising since I was probably 6 years old, doing football matches. And then as I was going along, I started to study the chemistry and pharmacology, and that kick-started a whole new level of nutrition, and then I started gym programs. So nutrition and exercise being like my whole life basically. So from there I realized how important nutrition was, and thanks to my mom I was always nurtured with the real food. So the cooked food, the vegetables, the fruit was always there. And when I came to Ireland, I thought the vegetables and fruit are expensive, so I stopped buying them. And within half year, I was like at the bottom. I felt horrible. I had all the worst feeling I could have. I was waking up very much tired. So that whole drop down to that not feeling good initiated my strong desire to understand nutrition, understand how to feel better, how to really be active again, and energetic and healthy as well. So what we're gonna talk about today will be a couple of practical things. For example, what type of blender would you invest into? Because there are 3 different types of blenders, at least 3 types. Then what to put in. We have some people who are diabetics, who actually cannot really have these high sugar levels. So I'll be covering some alternatives that will actually help to really go on that diabetes type of path that it will actually suit them. But generally I like to throw fruit into every smoothie just for its taste and energy as well. Especially for active people, we are able to burn calories, so it is really quick energy. So where to start first? Let me explain what's the main benefit of smoothies. I think they're really convenient. They're really fast to make. It's very fast to digest them, and you can have a huge variety, and you can put powders there. You wouldn't put powders into anything else really, maybe energy balls, or if you bake them into some kind of dough, maybe, but generally it's a great way to liquidize the powders. So certain supplements could be added, certain superfoods, certain spices could be added into the smoothies, and that actually nearly becomes as a container, the medium to deliver that powder into your body. So that's why I think it's also functional, not only convenient. So if you know about certain supplement that has high iron, for example, like spirulina, for example, so you add just a little bit of spirulina into your powder, into your smoothie. But then on the other side, if you would have this spirulina with the water, it might be completely disgusting, and some people will just say, no, I'm not gonna take this. On the other side, you have people who doesn't like the taste of certain vegetables, and they wouldn't eat them, even though, you know, doctor can tell them like eat this vegetable because it's good for you, and they wouldn't. So the main thing is to really mix up the smoothies in such a way that even the worst possible taste vegetable or fruit could be actually nicely blended in, that you don't even notice it. And we have hundreds of recipes. Not here, but you know, on the internet you can just search, hey, that's what we do. Books, internet, you get lots of ideas on the smoothies. So I'm not gonna go into all the details specific, but I will go through certain key principles that I'm actually following. What's the main base, what's the additives, and how to make the ratios reasonable. So for me, the bananas being one of the best bases. You're laughing there, yeah? Well, he's seen me, Željko's seen me throwing 8 bananas, 2 big tablespoons of peanut butter, and 1 scoop of whey protein into 1 portion of smoothie. After 2 classes, it goes straight in muscles. It's a huge amount of smoothie, but yeah, that's like fueling for athlete. Probably I would recommend like half of it for regular people. So anyway, what I wanted to say is that, hey, that I wanted to say it's a great tool. And just because it's a great tool, why not to use it? Sometimes people tell me, oh, I don't have time for this. But, you know, the main thing is then they go to the petrol station and they eat crap. Actually, one second. I think this one. You know, I'm recording this for you. So, so the main thing is they would still go to the petrol station and get the sandwich, or they would get some you know, sugary stuff. And you know, after the workouts, for example, I always tell my clients, if they are looking for muscle building, weight loss, any fast results, the time efficiency is important, because with the workouts, for example, we create an opportunity for refueling and rebuilding very quickly, and even the hormones in the body change a little bit after that workout. Certain hormones are elevated, so that food is actually really get a little bit of turbo, how it actually absorbs inside. So the smoothie is one of the best ways. You make it at home, takes you around a minute, you take it with you. Again, this one, I didn't take my cup today, I was taking backpack on my bicycle, so I was thinking just like going as light as possible. So basically this could be your thing. You make one smoothie and you just top it up with this, and that's it. It takes me around a minute, and I take it with me, and I have it after the workouts, or I have it in the between of the workouts, or when I know there will be huge gaps between the meals, I have them ready. So just to give you these couple of ideas, like how to use smoothies for your everyday life. So I mentioned the bananas to be great base. There could be mangoes, for example, a melon, watermelon, or any of these yellow melons could be also good. You can base it on apples, anything that is really watery or smooth, sweet, because if you want to put vegetables on its own, like kale, you'll be like, sometimes I have colleagues and they see my smoothies and I just add a little bit of peanut butter into it. It's brown, and they're like, what's this? Well, like, come on, it's a peanut butter. You know, it's brown. Then I put a little bit of spirulina, and people makes this visual disgusting kind of expressions, and I'm like, this is far better than your food which you had there. And it allows my body to just take it in very quickly without much of digestion, because you know, there's not so much need of breaking it down with a strong digestive acids. It doesn't take a lot of your enzymes to break it down, because it's already blended to such a small pieces. These digestive enzymes and acids that you already have actually help to break it down very quickly, and it absorbs very quickly. So actually it doesn't cost your own energy. Because, for example, if you have a big meal, didn't you notice, guys, that sometimes you get very sleepy afterwards? Yeah, especially like big pasta, big bread portions, sugary stuff, like that stimulates insulin. But any heavy meal will just make you feel like, oh, I'm just gonna plunge into the sofa. And you know, after the smoothie, I never had that, never. I actually, some days I actually have only smoothies. I would have 5 to 7 smoothies. Of course, I would have 3 workouts, and I would be like running here and there all the time, cycling between things. So I would be non-stop active. But those 7 smoothies, actually, I feel quite powerful. It's not that I would do it every day, but here and there, it's a great way of actually staying on top of your fuel. So, where we left it now. So, next thing I want to talk about is about blenders. What type of blender to buy? So, there are those hand blenders. They cost anywhere from 9 to 30 euro. You know, those hand blenders. Those are actually very much inexpensive. I like those if you want to make some kind of spread, like avocado, like guacamole, for example. Because if you want to make a thick stuff, you want to control the blade. So if you have it in a narrow jar and you put it there, you plunge it there, these type of blenders would not blend it because it will stuck. It wouldn't move. And that's why for these type of spreads, for example, or anything that is thick, or even for soup which is hot, it's better to have that one. But then if you have, for example, the blender that is as big as this one, this Philips, for example, I bought it for, I'm not sure if 20 euro or 30 euro, but I regret it. Because I thought like, okay, it's 400 watts, and I thought like, okay, it will be energy efficient, and I realized actually that I did a huge mistake because it doesn't break down the fibery stuff, and especially when the smoothie becomes very thick and heavy, it just go like, ooh, you know, you can feel like it's slowing down. So definitely I would recommend at least 700 watts for the blender, just to pay extra 20 euro because you cannot use it for next 2 to 5 years, or maybe 20 years. I think my mom still had a blender when I was a little baby, and that's like 30 years. Old build. So next thing would be the high level, like 100 euro to 600 euro blenders. So this one was, for example, my birthday present, this Ninja Professional. It's 900 watts and has high speed. It has a blades that actually, there's a 6 blades, and I actually like to lick this stuff, and once I cut my tongue, I realized they're actually like knives. Because I never seen such a sharp blades, so you can actually lick it. Anyway, back to the business. The thing is, these high-speed blenders are actually good when you want to break the fiber stuff like kale, when you have flax seeds and you want to really make them into nearly cream. So, you know, the difference between 30 to 50 euro blender and being limited, of course it's a little bit bigger in size, but if you fill it in, it doesn't really do a great job. Then unless you sell smoothies yourself and you get this 600 euro how is it called, Vitamix? Vitamix, it's like, you know, quite a price for a blender, which I don't think so it's necessary unless somebody is just, you know, just throwing money away, because sometimes people think that the better the gadget, the better their nutrition, but the fact is a lot of people buy juicers and blenders and never use it. They just suddenly put it somewhere into the drawers and never touch it again. So from all of those, I think this is my favorite one, because they have these 2 jars, and if I'm on the go, I'm making, for example, I'm making this big one. I throw, let's say, 2 bananas, I put orange into it, I put tablespoon of peanut butter, tablespoon of whey protein just to get more protein in it, I put flax seeds into it, and I put some omega-3 oils into it, and sometimes occasionally I put a frozen cube of spinach. So it's like lots of food in the one jar, and that's basically as I'm making it, I drink it straight ahead, and I'm making another 2 for my work. For breaks, for after my spin class or after the body pump. I know the bananas will actually refuel my muscles quickly. So, and that takes me like 5 minutes, and I'm already having breakfast, and I already have 2 smoothies done, and I don't have to clean anything except this blade. When I remove it, I just rinse it through the hot water, and that takes me like 10 seconds. So that's why I like those. Convenience, and in the long term it saves you time, and you can throw in lots of good stuff, which I wouldn't throw into this one, because then I wouldn't enjoy the smoothie. It wouldn't be as creamy, it would be quite chunky, and that's why. Okay, guys, so far, do you have any questions?
You like the omega-3 in there, do you?
Yeah.
I know there's a little bit of controversy about the omega-3 causing prostate cancer.
Yeah.
Fish oil, is it? Yeah.
Well, omega-3 oils, I was talking on the last 2 seminars that how actually important they are. Omega-3 oils being actually said by all the experts that the omega-3 and probiotics are one of the 2 most important supplements now. So why is it that we need omega-3 oils? Because omega-3 oils are very anti-inflammatory. They help to actually burn the fat, so it's good for weight loss people. It's also very good for joints and memory and cell health. So it actually helps to maintain the cells walls, the membranes. What happened in our society in the last couple of decades is that we shifted from that ratio, which was omega-3, omega-6 and omega-9. We shifted a lot towards this omega-6 and 9. And omega-3 become very little in it, and well, it's being said that that ratio on its own causes weight gains and inflammations, and these days we know that a lot of diseases are caused by inflammations and acidity, and plus stress on top of it is just like double killers. So what was the question then?
I was just questioning the omega-3s because I used to take them all the time, and then there was a lot in the news about causing cancer possibly, but maybe it was wrong, I don't know.
Well,
I stopped taking them. Like
there's
fish, of course,
controversy everywhere. You have one camp of people will start to say this is good, this is bad. Well, as with every research, as every flashing headlines on the news, we have to have always a little bit of skepticism and do a little bit of research ourselves and your common sense, your common sense. I think when we think about where the omega-3 oils are, it's really good sources like flaxseed oils from some flax seeds, hemp oils from hemp seeds. And those are really
I bought that actually.
They are really they are superfoods, And fish oil, well, the fish oil, we know we're poisoning the seas, so obviously the fish becomes more toxic. That might be why that omega-3 from fish oil, if it's not a good brand that is like deep Atlantic Ocean fish and with a good practice, good techniques, because sometimes they just go for the bulk just to sell more and fast. Sometimes we have companies that they pay a little bit more attention on preserving the quality of that omega-3 oil. Okay, let's go to the next question. There was 2 other questions, yeah, gentlemen?
I just wanted to ask, after how many hours you are hungry again after your first smoothie?
Well, I have very fast metabolism. I usually eat 5-6 times a day, sometimes 7. Maybe 2 hours. That's why I always put there something which has fat and protein in it. So even if I have like 2 bananas and I put 1 or big tablespoon of peanut butter, a good brown peanut butter, and flax seeds, I would feel probably 2 hours, even 3 hours until my next meal.
Then one more question.
Yeah.
Is it good to put coconut oil in it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like teaspoon or less than?
As I know, you could handle the tablespoon, well, since the coconut oil is a good oil. And sometimes people get confused about the macronutrients, how much protein, how much fat, how much carbs. how much of each of these to mix up into the diet. And we have this society that values the bread, potatoes, pasta are the staples. And based on the research and my conclusions by all these years of experimenting and studying, it seems like the rice and bread used to be a poor man's diet. It used to be a worker's diet. Energy to go and move and go to the factory, go to the fields and do the hard job. Walking through the mountains to the next site, to the towns, delivering stuff. People being much more active in the past. So that notion of what's enough. Out of all of those diets, I kind of tend to recommend ketogenic diet for most of the day, not like 100%. And this is something which I come to prefer based on what I read about, what I tried. And it's also important that whatever you do with your diet, if you're adding more protein or more fat, how does it make you feel? For people who are losing weight, are you losing weight after your readjustments, or is your health getting better? Is the inflammation getting calmer with the time or not? So
how do you know? I said, how do you know about the inflammation?
Well, for example, inflammation in the joints. Let's say if somebody has arthritis, anything ending is is at the end is inflammatory, like colitis, dermatitis. Any of those are inflammatory diseases. So you will feel it's getting better. The knee is not hurting, not burning so much. Digestion is a little bit calmer. Skin is a little bit calmer as well. So easy to judge. Plus, stress is one of the most inflammatory factors. So if you can eliminate stress as much as possible, not to get into stressful situations, but also that you learn the relaxation techniques, could be also better than your nutrition. So combining it in the holistic lifestyle. We have more questions?
I was just wondering about adding fruit to your smoothie, right? You break down the fruit and the molecules, and it gets absorbed very quickly or easily by your body.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you get, in that sense, then a sugar spike, as you would get if you would drink a Coke, for example? How would you describe it?
Yeah, well, it depends on the fruit, really, and depends on how much you can absorb and how is your insulin levels and response of the insulin. It's on your unique sensitivity. So I think all of these really depend, and I'm not claiming myself to be super duper expert on this kind of insulin things. I would definitely not put myself to say it's exactly as it is. But imagine, just let's make a common sense out of this. Imagine you have apples and you eat the apples. That is a fiber that makes you feel it's heavy. You can eat like 3 apples and you feel like really heavy because of that pectin and the fiber. So it makes you feel heavy and full. If you have it in a smoothie, there's a chance that you can overdose it and that you can spike insulin. That's true. Like anyone who has diabetes and they have like banana and whatever smoothie, they will have a spike. That's for sure. Yeah, but if you dose it well, that's why I'm saying, when I had those 8 bananas and peanut butter, I had it straight after 2 classes. I did like 2 hours workout. So I lost like good 1,200 calories in the 2 hours. 1,200 calories, I probably supply only around, maybe 500 calories from the bananas only. So, that's only the half of it. So it depends on your needs. If you go straight for the workout and you have that little spike, you're gonna use it. If you have it straight after the workout, you're gonna resupply it. If you're gonna be sitting on your chair and doing the desk work, you don't. You might actually build the fat from that excessive amount of sugar. So even fruit, if you eat too much fruit and you sit, you might actually build a body fat from it. That's fact.
Is there preference for having the smoothie before a workout or after the workout?
Well, depends on your day. It depends if it's before, if it's morning, if it's evening. depends how your schedule will be. It depends how much you can time it. Really, it's very specific. If I have the class, for example, I rather eat well 2 hours before, so I'm pre-supplied, so I have enough energy to push hard. But then I know I will need the sugars and I will need the protein to refuel. So I prefer them afterwards. And the main thing is whenever you have them like in the morning and you don't go for workout, I would use less fruit. I would use maybe 1 banana, but I would use much more fat and protein. So that banana will be there really just to make it tasty. If you put like kale and seeds and nuts, you know, like almond butter, cashew butter, you know, it might be a little bit disgusting for some people. It might be not so tasty. Do you have any more questions?
What are you using for fat? You said fat. Just, like say before school. Like,
Yeah.
instead of going for workout, you get up in the
Yeah.
morning and your breakfast is, you know, for herself.
Good question. Yeah. Well, my favorite is peanut butter because it's great on budget as well. Since I'm using like kilo for a week.
Yeah, we do those.
Yeah. So you know, peanut butter will be my favorite. Flax seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, walnuts, almonds. You know, that could be good as well. You can put flax oil, hemp oil, coconut oil, just you know, even fish oil that can hide in it. Okay. So, you know, all of these additives, like you play with your ratios. Actually, I would even send you the emails if you don't mind. I might get the email addresses from our system, as I see who booked for the seminar, and I'll send you my PDF file with the recipes. Okay, sounds good. I might send you the link back to this video and a link to the previous seminars that I recorded last 2 months. Sounds good? Cool. Well, you know, as every new habit, really it is about discovering what fits for your lifestyle, what feels good to you, and also many times you get the excitement and motivation, you buy the blender and then the blender goes away. You know, the wives hide it. So I seen my clients, some of my clients, for example, got a NutriBullet. They say, hey, it's a cool thing. Suddenly from half of my clients I heard about NutriBullet because it was well marketed. So people thought suddenly they had NutriBullet and suddenly it will just make itself for them. Well, you know, for someone who is addicted on sugars and bread and stuff like that, when you go to the shop, you don't think about buying vegetables. So very quickly that excitement, you know, drops down and the blender goes to the, you know, further to the shelves where nobody sees it. So it is important that you actually get a habit of applying that regularly. So for me, it is about convenience. It is really tasty ways of getting lots of calories for me. I know a lot of people looking for weight loss, and then I'll be more focused on good fat, good protein, and especially for post-workout I would add good quality protein. And actually I even brought today whey protein concentrate, which I'm buying from Bulk Powders, which is a raw milk, and it's a cold processed. So we can try some recipe. There will be banana, there will be avocado, and there will be cocoa. So this is like a chocolate mousse, how you call it? Mousse, yeah. Chocolate dessert, and it's very delicious, and it might be a little addictive, you know. So control the portions then. And then we're gonna make another smoothie that will be based on a little bit of banana, spinach, and water. Yeah.
Probably some protein.
And a little bit of protein, yeah. Is anybody here who, I know Mike, who doesn't like dairy products, so for those we're gonna skip one without whey protein. Why whey protein? Because for active people, this is actually quite healthy food. If you eat any cheese or milk, this is like the beyond, because it's actually protein based, there's very little lactose. It's really easy to absorb and it's inexpensive and tastes good. So that's one of the reasons why I recommend. whey protein, even though hemp protein and brown rice proteins could be healthier. Out of all of the research, they are more expensive, they are usually organic you can get, but they're not tasty, so I know a lot of people wouldn't get into those because of the taste. So I usually, even though I know what could be the best food, I know how people are, and I always offer this golden middle way so people can manage it. So there's a huge difference between theory and reality. And when we hit the reality, we realize a lot of people cannot manage the best techniques, the best food, because we're addictive and we sometimes prefer taste rather than the function of the food, the nutrition of it. So.
And the color.
Color. Yes, please.
Are there different kinds of whey proteins, or are they all pretty much the same? 'Cause
Well,
I see them on the shelves. And
It's a
I
good
don't know.
question, really. In the gym world, there is usually whey protein isolates and whey protein concentrates. So isolates are usually heat treated, and there's a higher percentage of the protein. In the long term, it's slightly acidic. So a couple of experts that I follow on the topic, they actually say that in the long term it's actually causing inflammations, while the concentrate is actually quite good and it's quite natural. So it's like a whole food milk, which is a raw, and just with the concentrating on that protein base, they get rid of, like, you know, the fat base. When you stir it, you get the fat base like a butter. Everybody knows how butter is done, yeah? Almost, yeah. Well, anyway, they twist in a high speed the milk, and the fat will separate on the surface, and they just cut it off, and you get less fat in the milk, low fat milk, and the rest will be your butter. But if you also further on separate that further part, you can get more and more protein, especially if they use some advanced methods, which I don't know about. Doesn't matter. I know it's safe. Being researched probably the most, because there's millions of people using certain supplements for the, for the sport, for athletes, for muscle building. So it's been quite on the market for a good couple of decades. So I only recommend something I believe it's good and safe. Yes, please.
Just wondering, is there maybe something you would not recommend to put in a smoothie?
Don't put the rocks there. You can break your blender.
The
And
what?
don't put the rocks there. And don't put
No, but I'm
don't
more
put
talking
the
about food.
don't put the metal spoon while it's blending. I've seen it once.
Maybe ingredients? Certain ingredients?
Certain ingredients. Well, no. Yeah, I think just, well, yes. Don't get the soy protein. Soy protein is being deemed the evil.
What about soy milk?
The same.
Evil?
Well, there's this.
The milk as well, and yogurt and plant-based milk or water. It's your choice what to put there. It will taste a little bit different, but very ordinary. It's water and still very good. And it also depends how much water. It can be very creamy and thick, or just watery like a drink. And we have something medium.
First one's a little stacked. They're a little stacked, like every second. Okay, so when we have a double. Yeah, I wouldn't touch that. Yeah. Funny. There's ceased. The path of least resistance.
Are they organic cups?
I like your humor.
PPA free.
That's why I always recommend detoxification, at least at spring, to cleanse the body, so you can peacefully drink the water and eat anything we want.
Is that 3 times in the sauna?
And sauna, yeah, 3 times, yeah. Well, that's the thing, like there's techniques, there's the strategies for nearly everything. So why not use them? Because like a lot of people pay for health insurance, but they're not insuring whatever strategy they can to make it natural, rather than curing the problem with preventing the problem, which is priceless. Do you agree? Nutrition is a big one. And trust me, from that time 11 years ago, 10 and a half, since I nearly crashed in my own energy levels and had some sort of problems with my health, and I realized like, wow, I'm only 22, 23 years old and I'm feeling like I'm dying now. So I realized I had this I caused that. It was my actions. I knew that whatever I was doing I can change. So I was forced to change myself, and that's why we motivate other people to do the changes for themselves, because it's important and it's about life and death. Literally. Okay, folks, let's make it. Hmm?
Do you have enough?
Well, I think we don't have enough people. I think there's more than people. Okay, there will be more. All right, guys, so why don't you just come in? Yeah, let's make a little action, a little bit of exercise. So just grab yourself a spoon first, so you don't have a shaky hands after. Get that for you as well. Take for your hubby. Okay.
This is like a
There you
dessert.
go.
It's really like chocolate dessert. And
Oh,
if,
read it.
if to make it more creamy,
Thank you for
it'll be
photography.
like
Take some questions.
chocolate.
Hey, yeah.
What's in it?
We skipped the way.
It's just very simple.
Avocado.
Avocado, cocoa, and bananas, and a little bit of water.
What's it?
And this is
The
for you.
spinach wasn't there, I think.
Spinach also?
No, it wasn't there.
Do you want to try your creation? Okay.
Chill into it, but it'd be like this.
Well, actually,
More like mousse, and also if to add there a little bit of coconut oil and to put it in the fridge, it will be more thick and like cake, like chocolate mousse cake.
Does it matter how long you blend the smoothie? Will it not destroy the whatever nutrients you have? Like the long
Really?
It will break down and it will be more creamy,
That's good.
and it still will have all essential nutrients, minerals.
So it's not as if, because I think I read
Is that any good?
say the more you blend it, you
Very tasty.
lose some
simple,
of the
and you can
nutrients.
have like hundreds of recipes, and each of them will be unique taste. You might actually, I developed my own favorite smoothies just based on, every day I'm doing 2-3 of them. You start to be bored of the same recipe. Sometimes you might miss one ingredient at home, and you look in the fridge, you look in the drawer, and it's like, let's try this. Let's put cinnamon there, cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper as well is making a little bit more fresh. It's good for weight loss.
Is it different sweeteners like strawberry or raspberry or stuff that you can?
Sometimes I put raisins into it because they're super sweet. I used to be like sugar junkie myself, so I like sweet stuff myself. But I try to calm down and actually not to get used to for too much sweet, because then, it's like any addiction. You just more sweet and more sweet. But if you actually calm it down with the sweet food, you don't really crave that so much. But also something that is less sweet, it still feels very
Or
sweet.
flavors?
You readjust for that. Like having a glass of wine after half year. We're gonna try the other one.
You want us to keep our spoons?
You don't have to. We have a lot of them.
Lots of spoons?
Yeah. We can discard them. Yeah.
Have another one?
Better to keep it out, because we don't have one.
So it's being.
Oh,
We have more, yeah. We have more cups. We can handle it. Ta-da.
Also, more bananas can make it sweeter. If somebody likes very sweet something.
Like me, for example.
Yeah, right.
8 bananas, okay?
It's a great
Only after 2
sweetener.
body pumps.
All
Body pump and spin in a row.
I thought you're putting a cube of spinach inside. Very smart because you can keep it in the freezer.
Yeah.
for as long as you want.
Actually, thanks
buy
my
the-
smart lady, cubes of spinach, the frozen spinach, €1 in Super Value,
Yeah.
€1 in Tesco. So even for people on a budget, because not everybody is doing that great after 2008 over here.
Yeah.
So actually having a healthy nutrition for some people is like, yeah, but I can't afford it. A lot of people I know, they just struggling, they have maybe 100 or €200 extra at the end of the month, or maybe €50. So for them, tell them like, yeah, you get organic bananas, get
Yeah,
organic
yeah.
everything. They couldn't afford it. They wouldn't. So it's better to think, smart as well. So that organic, that cube of spinach, it actually makes it nice, especially in summer.
Yeah, we have to finish it.
Exactly. It's nice, fresh.
It's not as expensive.
So we're gonna make second
You
one.
want
Yeah?
another?
We're good.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you make
next
yourself
episode.
comfortable again? You can sit down again, unless you want to stand over here, which is no problem. If you want to do squats in the same time, just make sure your hips goes first to the back, and then you push through the heels. Just kidding. That's called professional deformation.
But that's a Nutri-Bullet, right?
Yeah.
Or Ninja.
Nutri Ninja. By the way, there's this Nutri Bullet and Nutri Ninja. I think the Nutri Bullet has much more marketing funds, so actually everybody knows about it. But it's actually more expensive and it's slower. It's not as fast. So I think we checked the Argos, and on the Argos you have the customers' reviews. And we compare the Nutri Bullet and Nutri Ninja. There's actually much more people recommending Nutri Ninja for its performance and value for the money.
How much is it?
It was €100, I think, in Argos.
For the Nutribullet
Yes,
or the?
around 100.
€100.
But it's very
Not for this one. For this one?
It's
For this
really
one.
well. You will hear it in a few seconds. It breaks everything really nicely, and there's also one cup that is like,
Comes with 2 cups, does it? Or?
yeah, it's one that is up here. So you have a small cup and big cup.
I'd like to give maybe some of you guys advice. What I do, or you did do, is you have nuts from Tesco, or organic nuts.
Don't have
And-
organic nuts.
so you put them in the blender. You have another knife that specialized in cutting nuts.
Yes.
So you have kind of ground of all the nuts or linseed or all those. You add a little bit of honey and you put them in the oven, and then you make your own protein bar.
Yeah. That's very smart.
You can bring it to school or to work.
Yeah. Well, Yulia could do another workshop just to make energy balls because she's really good at it, and it's so simple.
Some raw protein bars and just healthy options for all those desserts and snacks on the go. It's very convenient and tasty because of all dry fruits and nuts in there. Also can do protein powders like vegan or milk protein. So it's very interesting. It's really tastes much better than supermarket bars, and it's a great snack. And post-workout or pre-workout.
So what would you put into those? What's that really fast ways? The one that you make so quickly.
The very simple recipe is ground almonds, honey, and cocoa. That's 3.
That's for the protein balls?
That's for energy balls.
Energy balls.
Energy balls. So it has some fat from almonds, protein from almonds, cocoa, and honey. But honey should be organic and natural, because it's very different when honey I saw in Tesco and it's like sugar, just clear sugar.
How do you?
It's not really honey, you're saying?
Yeah.
It
Well, it's
has-
like a sugar
yeah.
syrup.
Like
Yeah.
sugar syrup,
The
because
fake
it doesn't have any
honey.
flavor, any burning in your mouth, because natural honey is so different. You feel it in your mouth that it's flavoring and very
Active.
very active.
Well, the honey is very rich in enzymes, and they're active. Actually, enzymes are nearly like vitamins. They help
And
to.
honey, yes, also a great sweetener because it's natural. It's still sugar, but it's natural. It has more fructose than glucose because glucose it spikes insulin, and fructose it's much softer for
Really,
people
yeah.
who has diabetes.
So,
What all have you put in this one?
so banana. Do you want whey in it?
I think more water,
I don't think so. No,
which is very thick.
that's very.
Is there water in there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
a
but
little bit.
very little.
So you have water, banana, and
Spinach.
spinach. That's it.
Super simple.
And could be protein powder.
3, 2, 1. That's it.
Yeah, this blender much better.
Doo-doo!
We should get one of those.
And you can buy this blender
It's
on our
more
website.
We want to see you lick that.
Yeah. Just kidding. Okay.
Everybody gather around.
Yeah, I hope you guys don't mind. We're running a little bit over 1 hour, but unless you're rushing somewhere, you know, we have time. How do you do it? From the bottom, it seems actually quite easy. So we found a technique now. If you'll be buying this in a super value, just make sure you open them from the bottom. Yeah. Ta-da! You have? Good. Anybody else?
I didn't put protein powder, but
It's okay. We
It- it
skip the
just
whey
like-
protein in it,
like
but
recommendation.
it's just because of the Michael over here. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I don't need.
Okay, he can drink.
This one more water.
Actually, maybe we can try drink it. Yeah. I'll put a little bit of whiskey into it. Yeah. Just kidding. Not.
Hot whiskey.
Whiskey is healthy, yeah. In moderation,
Good.
makes your life more fun.
What's that?
Spillage. It's okay. There you go. Guys,
Is
enjoy.
this one banana in it also?
It's very
It's
simple.
banana
You
as well,
can
yeah,
you can
but
be
it's-
more creative with the recipes. This is just to
Yeah, we
you know
make
make it
very-
more
very
interesting, like a
simple,
workshop,
yes.
to see like how quick was preparation. Probably the most of the time we spent was these cups, you know. But peeling off the bananas, you know, that's kind of once you do 8 bananas in a portion, you just go. No rush, really. Even if you make it in 4 minutes, it's still good.
And they say then in the, for example, if you put an apple inside, the most of the nutritional value is in the skin,
Skin.
in the peel.
But also most of the pesticides.
Also, most of the pesticides.
So-
Yeah, organic apples.
Organic
much better,
apples.
yeah. For apples,
That's
organic
that's some of
important.
the things that I would say. Okay, apples. I would rather spend this extra 30%, or I would eat 30% less of them.
Okay.
And then it
Any
becomes
other food with a lot of high content of pesticides?
cucumber. You know, dirty dozen. Yeah.
Dirty
Just
dozen.
Google it, dirty dozen and clean 15, and you can get a chart
Okay.
on a you know, you just Google it. There's a couple of those which are like images, so you can actually print them or you can save them. And yeah, strawberries, for example, being like blueberries, yeah.
Did you
So you know, if you know, for someone who's, for example, trying to get rid of the cancer, and I would try to recommend them the cleanest diet for health, for healing. I wouldn't recommend the non-organic of those because you know, I wouldn't risk that might be a factor of their slow healing.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why wheatgrass juice, for example. It's like pure organic juice, very nutritious. We actually, last time we were in the Super Value, and they had this green juice, these green shots of wheatgrass, just €2. You know, you don't have to have a juicer, you don't have need nothing. You just go around, sip it, and that's it. It's pure stuff. It's very rich in minerals and vitamins and antioxidants. Yeah.
Chocolate junkies.
Nice, nice. Well, this type of this chocolate one, I like it very sweet and thicker. So there's another ways of making a little bit of honey into it, putting a little bit of raisins, but I don't want to spoil you guys. But if you train, if you exercise for athletes, for example, someone who is in the middle of a marathon or someone who is cycling 3 hours, you know, that's ideal energy. It goes straight in the muscle. Someone who is sitting in the office, you know, I wouldn't recommend the same diet. And I never recommend the same diet as I have for my clients who are looking for weight loss, because, you know, I'm for muscle gain and I'm on a very high, you know, expensive, you know, exercises, and I'm constantly active. Someone who is sitting in the office and driving here and there and have 3 exercises for half an hour in a week, you know, that their sugars, you know, making them fat. How is this one?
Good. Maybe you could add a little sweetener maybe, but it's good.
Irish people say not too bad, yeah?
Yeah, if you like to make it sweeter, just more fruits. More fruits.
No, I think
Yeah.
we probably just eat it. We don't blend it.
When you talked about the protein balls, the nuts and the honey,
Yes.
you blend it.
Yes,
And then, like,
not even blended,
no?
because
Or just mix it in?
they're in Tesco ground almonds, so
Okay.
I don't need to
So it's
grow
not
honey.
like-
Kind of roll them like
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, I just use
Okay.
it like a flour,
bowl.
like a base. Just mix ground almonds, a few spoons of cocoa powder, and honey, like around 100 milliliters of honey. It depends how sweet
Yeah.
would you like to make it.
Okay.
And just to make it like the dough, a little bit of water. And to mix it and to see if to roll the balls.
The best is to actually first mix the dry stuff.
The dry stuff and add
First.
honey, and little by little of water.
Till you get the right consistency.
Yeah, by tablespoon.
Well, the powders first,
Yeah,
so they
powder
have a
first.
consistency. Because once you start to add the sticky stuff, and on one part of the bowl you have cocoa, and on one part you have just almond, there might be kind of you know, like you might have one bowl which is just like cocoa and one which is just like almond. That's why I'm saying that.
And it really tastes like chocolate truffles, and they're all natural stuff in there. So it's very good. It's very good alternative to chocolate sweets and different bars.
And for many people, you know, who doesn't eat so much vegetables, the kale, you know, spinach and, you know, different type of vegetables could be added in it, yeah. In the form of smoothies, actually, you can make a raw soup as well. Then you can add a little bit of avocado to cream it. You can add soya sauce or miso to make it a little bit of salty, flavory. You can put you can actually use juice and use it in a blend with celery and tomatoes, and then actually on top of it you can put a little bit of pieces, like cut pieces of tomatoes or cucumber or celery to make it a little bit more fresh, but it's called raw soup as well, based on vegetables and salty stuff. Spices. And that's kind of handy. What else did we not cover today?
Also, a difference between juice and smoothies.
That was exactly what I was thinking about. Good. Well, exactly that's what I wanted to say. I used to have a blenders and I used to have a juicer. I have first this centrifuge, which was supposed to damage the nutrients in it because of the high speed, creates the heat. So I get this auger one, or this
That's the juicer, isn't it? Yeah.
masticated, or how is it called? I'm not sure if I pronounce it well, but it's the one which goes slow speed and the spiral pushes through and it juices them. You could do the wheatgrass and leafy vegetables and salads with it, but eventually this type of high-speed blender where you can put the fibery stuff and you break it down is better because you keep the fiber. And also, when you get rid of the fiber from the juice, from the fruit, you can actually get it like a sugary drink. So I would also watch out for that spike of sugars, because here you can still keep that fiber. On the other one in juice, it actually fiber is away.
Fiber slows down
Digestion, absorption.
sugar.
Yeah. And especially if you have a smoothie and you have the sugar stuff, you add fat in it and protein, and it slows down everything, so you don't get that spike. Okay. Anyway, guys, any questions? So anyway, thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. And well, I'll be preparing another seminar for the New Year resolutions. That will be weight loss. For sure, it will be weight loss. After Christmas, yeah, it will be like second week of January, when the motivation is still high and the guilt is still felt.
Good because
Yeah.
our son gave us for Christmas.
Well, I would have to ask someone else from a
And-
If it's okay, I just
because
want to see where I am.
because then
Make some margaritas.
because then she would be still going to the Klondike or study. She would want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell the guys.
Do it, it's just like
They don't
I've
have to do
never
it, but I
done
just
that,
walk up
so
there.
this
They
is
have to
just
do it.
like
They have to do it for insurance?
They must.
See if there's anybody available, okay.
I'll ask them. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you. Also, nice to have some fruits in their mix. And it tastes like much better than packed juices from the supermarket.
Yeah, I don't take those, there's too much. That's straight sugar, those juices.
Yeah, it's a straight sugar. There's
Yeah.
nothing in it, no nutrients, and here everything's
So if you're
fresh.
gonna put an orange in there, you just peel it and throw the whole orange
Yes,
in.
just peel it.
Yeah.
Would it be okay to have like a glass of that before you came for a workout?
Yes, it's excellent because you need some energy before workout, and it goes straight. You don't need time to digest, because meal it takes time around 2 hours to digest, and sometimes when I go to the gym I feel heavy a little bit and fatigue. And this one is just excellent pre-workout and also after to top up energy.
Yeah, I find also if I come to the gym and I've had breakfast, that when I do, anything that I'm lying on my stomach, it
because
makes
it
me
stays
feel
there.
full.
It stays there because it takes time to digest it, and it's very light and makes you feel very good.
Yeah, great.
Thank you very much for your.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you. Thank you very much for coming.